was just working on a Fog Warrior track, and I figured I'd stream it for a little bit. This is a track that I'm working on for the album Of Strength and Sadness by Fog Warrior, and the song is called No Hope. Right now, you can't see. You know what? I'm going to change this to capturing this whole screen so you can see. There we go. There we go. So you can see everything. I'm trying to come up with a sound for the bass right now because I have a very crappy bass track recorded. This one right here. Get out of the way. This is the bass track I was recording. Um, this track, No Hope. I have it saved as birthday because there was a birthday party going on in the other room when I recorded this. The guitar line I came up with. It doesn't sound atmospheric black metal like the rest of it, but it just popped into my head. And then I threw a little alternate on the one guitar. So, and then I threw the cheesy little drum line over it. I hear my computer lagging for some reason. I'm using Studio One Pro version 3. What is the actual version? Three point 5.6.46910 whatever. I haven't upgraded to Studio One 4 yet because I'm afraid once I do that I'm going to lose a lot of VSTs. So VSTs and VSTIs. So right now what I'm working on is this cheesy, really quick bass line I recorded, trying to come up with a sound for it. So, but I wanted to kick up this program here. This is my Guitar Pro 5 program. I write a lot of tracks using this where I'll just pop up a scale and throw it on here, and then I'll write the song around the scale. So this one's called Birthday, so why didn't I see it? And it recorded on there. I saved it into another spot apparently. It's not there. Oops. So right now I'm trying to find what I wrote it around. Come over here. I wonder if when I wrote it, I just recorded everything all at once and didn't save the GP5. So Guitar Pro, this program here. Well, I can't show you now because I'm looking at it, but the heck? I use Guitar Pro 5. I had I bought 6. I don't know if 7's out yet or not, but I bought Guitar Pro 6. And a lot of stuff I write uses hyperpicking. So if you look, like, let me find one. What was I listening to earlier? I was doing, so, okay. Where did I save all these? I can't even figure out where I saved any of these at. I wonder if they went to a different spot. Yeah, oh, there's so. Okay, so I was doing this one earlier. And you can see I would give myself C overtone scale. C overtone scale. And then so I see the keyboard up here, the guitar setup, and then I'll go through and I'll mess around with it. This one I actually started writing before I used the GP5 on it. Let me get to that one. I just had this one up. I need to fix the guitars in the beginning because I clipped off the first part of the first. I chopped off the first part of the guitar in the beginning on here. And I have this thing going on where if I'm not running through my UX2 interface and I have recording on, like on the percussion, it'll play fine, but as soon as the percussion comes in, everything will just go back crap static. So gotta make sure I turn it off. But you'll see here on here when I recorded this, I clipped it instead of sliding into the chord like I was doing. I clipped it to. I started recording on the downbeat, and what I was writing slides into the note, so it doesn't work properly. See, it starts right on it, and then slides in, so I gotta fix that. But you can see using DP5, there's the notes. It's that. You'll see I have one 40% to the left and 40% to the right. They use two different, they use waiting for it to start. part that's coming up, I'm not sure of yet. This part, I don't think it fits. Do I do it anywhere else? That's two. That's 3 and 3. I don't think I did it again, or do I do it? Nope, I don't do it again. So that's the only spot it comes in. It kind of fits, but I don't think it fits very well. So I may change that because it's running lyrics written for this. I just haven't recorded them yet, and I still got to put the bass line down. And for some reason, okay, yeah, I forgot. I need to fix the intro and the clean guitar part in the beginning. And for me, like the whole thing sounds a little too bright. Like it's not as atmospheric as I would like it to be. It's more in your face. That's the title track. I'm gonna kick up Samurai. This one I wrote it as a 46-minute and 4-second long song, and I normally release, apart from the physical CD I released in 2019. 2019 is what I'm trying to say. Apart from that one, everything I release on Bandcamp, and having a track that's 46 minutes long exceeds the 600 megabyte limit for Bandcamp because you have to put stuff on there on high quality WAV files, not MP3s. So I figured I would break it up. So you kick that one up. Let me get Samurai up over here. Let me move it. So that's Samurai. Let me look at that. That's a picture of me when I was little. There's Samurai. It's me behind my Uncle Chris's drum set in his red, white, and blue bricked up room. So this originally was a 46-minute long track. And what I ended up doing was I broke it up. Just if you look at the end of the track, and I have a spot I wrote that I could never find a spot for in it. So we go back. Why did that change to seconds? There we go. 1,383 bars worth of music. So the way I have this one written out is that the intro is like till 4 minutes and 16 seconds, which is like up to here. This is more of what I was looking for. I don't know how well it's going to come over the stream, but so this would be the intro. The whole thing is called Ruin. It's the original song I wrote back in the 90s was called Tears of Blood, but the whole thing is going to be called Ruin, and it's just going to be in parts, so this would be part one. Nothing's getting changed on this part, other than I won't be talking. So that's the first part. And then everything I wrote, everything else is written on a C augmented fifth scale, this scale here. So you can see the first part you're gonna hear on the clean guitar that comes in is this chord here, E add 9. This, looking at this is your guitar flipped upside down. This is the low E string. This is the high E string. So it's E A D G B E. So I've been playing this chord, this setup for this chord, this finger setup, I guess. That's just something that once I started playing, that's one of the chords that I just automatically go to for some reason. So in this setup, I have it here. It starts with the E at 9, and then it drops down to a C7th major at 11. So, and it just picks the three notes. Dun 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 dun. Wait, dun 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 dun. I think it goes all the way up. Let's hear. That's what I'm doing. Now we're down to this chord. They sound good individually picked, but you're going to hear them all together here in a minute. Well, you can tell when the keyboard, the Mai-Tai keyboard kicks back in and the drums kick in. Hey, Lethal. Yeah, I checked it out last night. As soon as I finished streaming, I checked it out. So they sound beautiful individually picked. When I hit them as a chord right here, they're going to sound ugly as hell. Can you hear me better now? I like hiding behind my music to start with. Well, the setup I'm using right now is probably a little funky because I'm using my UX2 for all the effects, but I'm still using my regular microphone, which I don't usually do. So I guess I could turn it up a bit. How's that? That a little better? This is Studio One Pro. This is Studio One Pro. I bought it when it was version 1, so it was like $500. I've upgraded it once from version 1 to version 3. Version 4 is out, but I don't want to mess with upping the. I don't want to up my version of the studio program yet because I don't want to lose. Because I don't want to lose my VSTs over here. Podfarm I can put back in no problem, but like those I never use those vocoders. My instruments over here, the Abacos, especially Oatmeal, all these little keyboards down here that I use for all my projects, I don't want to lose those again. And when you upgrade your recording setup, there's a good chance you could lose compatibility with those, which I've done in the past. So this is just version 3, and it's got everything I need. I really don't need to up it any higher, but I'm sure I will. Yeah, VSTs. You see the effects. Includes all the ones that came with it. So you have VST effects, and then instruments. You have the VSTIs. And the ones there's a lot of these that I use. I remember when I downloaded Abacus here, it has 300 presets, and it took me 3 hours to go through and just hear each sound on the presets. Addictive Drums is what I'm using here. That's the standard drum set I use. That was recorded in a closet because to me, it's the sound of it is really good. I think if I would have done it, the only thing I really would have changed is I would have put more on her vocals. Her vocals, to me, I mean, they came through. You could hear them, which is different from how I do mine. My stuff, you can't hear my vocals because my voice sucks. But her vocals could have been backed up a little bit thicker, I guess. I mean, it sounds perfectly fine. And reading the comments, there's a lot of positive comments on that. And I mean, listening to my music, I'm not one to talk about how music should sound in the first place. But I mean, it sounds really good. The backing music sounds really good. Her voice sounds really good. It just seems like I don't know how to put it. It's kind of like it's raw, like it's not. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's. I don't want to put out the wrong thing. I'm not saying it's not good. It is good. I think the only thing I would change. Well, it's better than good, but the only thing that I would have changed is I would have thickened out the vocals a little bit more. But yeah, but I liked it. I don't think it needed a whole lot more work. I think it was. Yeah, everything that needed. I think the only thing that could have been done is just thickened up the vocals a little. Made them sound, fuller. Not that there's. Let me reiterate. Not that there's anything wrong with it. The way it is now, it sounds perfectly fine the way it is now. I'm not one to talk about making something sound better because my music ain't the greatest. You want to see the song I use for my intro? What do I save that one as? That is Letterman. So this is the song I'm using for. This is a song called. This I Am Broken. Yeah, this is a song called I Am Broken, and this is. What the intro song is. This was me sitting in front of my computer with my guitar one day. This was me sitting in front of the computer one day and just I played 3 chords on the guitar and I thought, hey, I can make a song out of that. And so I just sat down and recorded those 3 chords, which were these. And then I just took those 3 chords and mushed them around a lot. So every time you see like track 3, 5, that was the 5th take. 6, so here's 5, that's the same as that one. Here's 8, so here's another iteration of those chords. long is this track? This is what I have ready to go right now. See, here's the last album. That's the last album. So this is the album of Strength and Sadness. 6 minutes, 12 minutes, 9 minutes, 8 minutes, 12 minutes, 10 minutes. So this one's 12 minutes long. And then the EP with the one track, Invictus, which is 20 minutes long. And then Ruined, which is actually one song that's 46 minutes long that I have to chop up or else it's not going to fit on Bandcamp. What is this? God, why is it doing that? My computer, when I'm streaming it right now, for some reason, you can hear the double bass all of a sudden just go off, like it's lagging. It's my computer's lagging for some reason. This one was on. This is what Letterman. I give these working titles for whatever I'm doing when I'm starting to write it. And so this one, I was watching a bunch of David Letterman stuff on YouTube. So there's the original chords right there. It is a D major 13th arpeggio. D. Major 13th arpeggio. So there's the neck. So what you hear in the beginning, show you on here. You hear the Presence is using what? Expressive choir, and it's just a really, really low. Oh, that's even better. It just uses a really super low note. So what you're going to hear is this is the first chord, and like I said before, this is the guitar turned upside down. So this is your low E string, E, A, D, G, B. There's your high E string. So you're going to hear that note, then it slides up, goes from there to there to there, back down to here, and then goes over again. And the E string is droning the whole time. So it's just a power chord going 2, 3, 5, 3, 2 with the E going right along with it. Very basic. And then everything else is just mixtures of that. So I would put on like one of the ones from the last album, the one that was a physical copy that just came out, but it's copyright owned by Via Nocturna until I think December of this year. They had it for 2 years, and then once the 2 years are up, then it reverts back to me in perpetuity forever. So, but as you can see, this only has the drum tracks down on it, which are all piano rolled. Back to the beginning. There we go. So it starts off with the China. Bass drums. There's the toms up there. So that's what I use for the intro right now for when I'm streaming EverQuest 2 like I will be later today. So I don't have any musical skill at all either, Lethal. We're in the same boat. And then anybody who's watching this who's like a professional, studio technician and everything, will see how I'm doing everything wrong because I'm self-taught. I haven't even watched videos on how to do this. I've seen a couple videos, but this is all just me going from Cakewalk 4, just teaching myself how to write or how to record and whatnot. And like I was saying earlier, this program is the Guitar Pro 5, which when I'll come up with something and I'll sit down and I'll throw the notes up here and then I'll search for the scale to see what scale I'm in and then pop it up on the neck. So this shows you all the notes that are in this scale. And then I'll pop it up on there and then I'll just start goofing around on the guitar, making sure it stays in scale. So I write to scale, not to actual, I just lost the word. Anyway, that's how I do these. So this one, like I said, I was sitting down watching David Letterman on YouTube, and I just played that little, was just strumming and played that little piece of guitar work right there. So that's all there is to it. And then I added some other things. You got it up an octave. Oh, and then this part right here, is it this part? Nope, it's this part. So it's right here. Or did I not write it down? Oh, I wrote down the second half. But one of the reasons I do this too, I use the GP5. One of the reasons I use the GP5 is so I can remember what I wrote. Because if you look, so this is all the stuff these are all the GP5 programs I have written. Just 4 that I know I'm using for Fog Warrior, and then you come out of that, and then here's a bunch of just general ones I have. And then you go like to Evil Trimegistus has a couple. Here's the album Hung Like a Corpse on a Stake and Bleeding. Here's the album Inferno Land. And then you come up here. That should not be in there. That is a totally different project. Here's my classical stuff. What did I save my non-ets? I don't even remember what I saved my non-ets as. This was just a new one I was trying out. This is my technical thrash one. This is the one that has the weird friggin' time signatures. I actually wrote those down at one point. I don't see them. In the wrong folder. All my pictures of me and King Diamond. I don't see it. It's an old one, so it's probably with all my song lyrics. Nope, that's the track old. Ah, well, no big deal. This one here is the first album. Among Utem Cag awaits. Ruda Clements, Stigmata Laudis, Tirade de Se. Among Utem Cag awaits, which is the song. Among Utem Ku Grieves, which is the instrumental. And then this is old, but I don't even know if I can play this one. I wrote it so weird, off-timed, and fast that I don't know if I can even do it. The whole point of this, Amamutem Ku and Amamutem Kag are Babylonian servant deities, and the whole part of Amamutem Kag awaits. And I know I'm saying the name wrong. I call it U12, and U12 is what I call Amamutem Kag because he's also a character I play in EQ. Um, the whole purpose behind that is that the servant deity Amamutem Kag has decided he's tired of being a servant, and he's telling everybody on Earth back in the Babylonian days, you worship me or I'm not taking your sacrifices to the gods, and they will think you have forsaken them, and they will come down and lay wrath and blah blah blah. So he's trying to get everybody to worship him. And then the instrumental Amamutemku grieves is Amamutemku doesn't agree with him and is being very melancholy about it. That was the whole purpose of that setup. And the idea I was going to use for that, I had, let me pick this up. I'll show you the album cover that I have from Juha Vorma that I was going to use for this. Oops. Matter of fact, I did a mock up of the actual album cover. Looks like that. The only thing is, the original that Juha did, you'll see is different looking. I don't see the original. There it is. So here's the original. You see the little raccoon face in the middle. And I didn't want to keep that in there. So I photoshopped it really crappily out. But this is done and this is done. This is missing some of the tracks, obviously. But I still wasn't sure how I was going to do that one. That was still up in the air. So I still have that cover. And then like I was saying, you can see that's all the stuff that I have for that. Oh, no, that's for Fogware. But you see the stuff I have for old. Actually, it won't play right now because I have the setups all funky. This one was a project I was going to start called Possessed to Die, and the album was going to be called Possessed by Death. But then Psalm Tomb is a project I was writing where I wrote like epic black metal, and then whoever wanted to do lyrics, I was like, whoever wants to put lyrics over it, put lyrics over it. So there's a album called Grave by Psalm Tomb that's out on I think Spotify, Amazon, iTunes. That is 3 tracks: Grave, Memory of Memories, the final. Oh, I forgot the name of the track. It's 3 tracks where I wrote the music down here in Central California, and then I sent them to my nephew who was in Northern California, and he recorded the vocals. I told him to write whatever lyrics he wanted, but the main track had to be called Grave because that's what it was already called. So we did those 3, and then I think there's an instrumental and there's an intro. So it's a small little EP, and I have other ones that are ready to be recorded. I just nobody ever came forth and wanted to do any more lyrics. Stab, that's Stand There and Bleed. There's nothing in here because it's in a different folder. That's the band I was in with Steve. And then this is on my Mutam CAG, which is my shoegazing metal that for some reason can't go on the Encyclopedia Metallium because they said it's not metal. What it is, I don't know, but um, it's also on Spotify and I think Spotify and Amazon and Apple and iTunes and whatnot. Septural Silence record label put those out for me. But you can see how many tracks I have written, and if I find one, let's go back to old. Oh, this one here, Bleeding Jones. Crap. This one here, an old project called Bleeding Jones. I wrote it while I was watching Terry Jones bleed all over everything doing the Salad Days Monty Python sketch. Um, this actually is the song Dying in the Sacred Grove of Nerthus that came out on the CD, the physical CD that just came out whilst rooted in obscurity. And this was another one where I was writing stuff for the old project and I was getting more and more technical. Like I said, the one track old that I don't even know if I can play. And so I thought, let me write something a little bit more basic. So it's more just a power chord. I don't even know what you'd call that. And then a power chord and a power chord. But then the bass has a little solo. See what it does there. You can watch up here. You can see where they highlight where the fingers are. And I play that on. It's written on a 6-string bass because I have two of those. But I record on my 4-string fretless bass because one of my 6 strings is still 650 miles away from here, and the other 6 string is warped because a lot of my guitars are warped from living at the coast and not even thinking about humidity and just leaving them out. So, so the reason I use this, do we have any here? I'm looking at the notes. I don't see any. All right, let me find another one. Um, let's go to E Trig, and then I Welcome Death. This track right now, I Welcome Death, for my Evil Trismegistus project, which is my main project, which I haven't released anything now in 14 years. This track is 30 minutes long at the moment. So you see this here? I really wish you guys could hear what this is doing. Wait a minute. Nope. I think it's because this is MIDI and it's using the MIDI. So what this is doing is this is saying that's a dotted quarter note. So that's 1, 2, or 1 and, because a quarter note is just 1. So when you're in a 4/4 time signature, like these are all in, you would have 4 quarter notes to make up one. I'm pointing at this. You guys can't see what I'm pointing at. Right here is everything's on this song is 4/4 time signature. So a quarter note would be, you would have 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and they would get the count 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you have your eighth notes, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then 16th notes, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E. And then half notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and whole notes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Take up all 4 notes. Dotted means you go 1.5. So if it gets 1 count, then now it's 1.5. So it's a 1 beat and then an eighth. So for that amount of time, normally you would just have your 1 note, But these little things underneath here show that this is hyperpicked as 30-second notes. So it's playing for that duration. It's playing super fast. It's holding for that duration, but it's playing multiple notes instead of just holding 1 note. And I love doing that because if you write something out without using tremolo picking, or hyper picking is what I call it, and you try to write it out in the GP5 program, you would have, what is that, 1.5? So if that was just one quarter note, then it would be 1 count as a quarter note, 2 counts as an eighth note, 4 counts as a 16th note, 8 counts as a 32nd note. And so that's 30-second notes tremolo picking. So that's 8 notes played in the time that you hear this, plus another 4 because it's dotted. And I would have to put down 12 notes, 12 30-second notes to show the same thing as what this is showing. Just the one note with the tremolo picking underneath it playing 30-second notes. And when I upgraded to Guitar Pro 6, Guitar Pro 6 did not recognize my GP5 programs, my GP5s I had saved that had the hyper picking in them. So as soon as I paid for it, I installed it. It's all shiny and new looking. This one's very basic looking. The GP6 program is all shiny new and looks beautiful. And when it got to these notes that I had the hyper picking on, it played them as a single note. Dun, 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 dun. So I still use GP5. I've got it on. This is the third or fourth computer that I've moved it over to. And if I had a way of, I sent them a message. Well, first I sent them an email saying how unhappy I was that you could not convert your GP5s to GP6 with the tremolo picking. And I think they sent me back a form letter. And then I sent them another email saying, is there any way I could get a copy of the install of the Guitar Pro 5 with the last, oh crap, don't look at that. The last update. Because if I put it, just install GP5, which I have, onto a computer and then try to pop these up on there, it'll say these files are from a different version of Guitar Pro 5, and it won't load them. So this one I've had on an external drive and moved from like 3 or 4 different computers. And this is the one I prefer because I prefer writing this way than, I mean, if I had to write all these 30-second notes out, this would take forever. So that's why I use this. What scale is this track in? I Welcome Death. Did I even show what scale this is in? Nope. This is when I wrote I Welcome Death, the E-Trig song. I wrote it while driving, actually, and then pulled over and wrote it down. I started writing it. I came up with the title while I was driving and had to pull over and write it down. And then when I got back to my house, at the time, this is way back, I only had a 386 computer, and I sat down in front of the screen and just wrote whatever came to my mind. But the guitar line for it and everything, I wrote just sitting in the front yard on a guitar. Doesn't look like much, but someday it'll be finished. So GP5 is what I use for coming up with ideas. So like with this track, after I came up with these notes in the beginning, so what I did was after like I said, I was watching David Letterman on YouTube and was just goofing around on the guitar when I came up with that. So I threw the 3 chords down, just like that with the clean fretboard, And for everybody who's never used GP5 before, this is upside down. This is your low E, E, A, D, G, B, E. So I threw the chords down. I love playing these triad chords, but then I just move it up, drop it. Um, and then what I'll do is I'll hit scales, scale finder, find something that fits. And it'll give me all these ones that have zeros behind them are all the scales that these notes fit into. And then you get down to where it'll say like 4, then this is telling you it fits, but there's 4 notes that don't fit in this scale. And I write to fit in scales because I'm just loony that way. And I think this one was, what was I using? D major 13th arpeggio. So then I would come here, put it on a D major 13th arpeggio. And then so now it shows me all the notes that fit into that scale. And then as I'm goofing around on the guitar, I can find things that fit. And what I mainly did was I just made this one, took those 3 notes and moved the rhythm around a lot. So like this one, I just made them bounce up and down a lot. Ah! That bugs the crap out of me how it's lagging like that. And the way I record them, I have 2 separate guitar tracks. One is 40% to the right, one's 40% to the left. They have 2 different effects on them. They're using Pod Farm, but this is 2 Hands Big Hair. Now this is Avenged, and this is 2 Hands Big Hair. And I split them off to the side, so if you're wearing headphones, it sounds fuller. You don't want to put them all the way to the side because it kind of loses them, in my opinion. It kind of loses it. I put them off just 40 and 40 off to the sides, and then I put the drums down the middle, I put the vocals down the middle, the keyboards down the middle. And on this one, I'm just using Presence with Expressive Choir. For the most part, you can see what it starts with. The Expressive Choir right there. With the chorus and then my favorite reverb, Long Tunnel. So when I record vocals too, the screaming vocals that I use, the only effects that I will put on them is an EQ. I'll put on the Pro EQ with, I think it's telephone, so it's super high with no lows. And then I'll put on the room reverb with the long tunnel. And that's all I put on the vocals. And then on the clean vocals, I think microphone. I think all I put on is just reverb. There's no point in trying to fix all that crap. So, and then like I said, I'm self-taught. So, on every track, every song I write, I have my trash. So I'll record up here, and I can record unlimited times over and over and over again. But then I always keep some of the takes. I'll put them down here in trash, which is always muted. So there's a lot of songs where I've gone back and pulled something out of the trash and used it, because these aren't, really trash. It's just stuff I'm not using. So, and like when I was showing the one I did earlier, uh, I think it was the title track of Strength and Sadness. It had where the song ended at out here. There was more stuff out here because it was a guitar line I came up with that could have fit, but I never found a way to fit it into the song, so I just didn't use it. That can be a bonus on the track or something. And then the drum setup I use, this is the standard drum setup I use. the bass drum with triggers, and then I go 10 by 8, 12 by 8, 13 by 9, 14 by 14 Gretsch because I wanted another drum in there, 16 by 16, 18 by 18. I use what's that? I don't even know what that word is. Cravito custom shop snare, and then we got the Zildjian hi hats because they have the sound I like. In real life, my drum set has uh, is it 14-inch Sabian Manhattan grooves. I have Zildjian China, another Zildjian China. I got a Pasty 3000 ride, a Zildjian A medium ride. You can hear you go up. It's one of the things I like about this drum program. You start down here, and this is the volume. So if you start down here, or not the volume, but how hard you're hitting it. I love that. And then what my drum set has, my real life drum set, which is up in Crescent City with my nephew, is a 15-piece Sabian Force 2001 with, when I had it, 22 cymbals. And the majority were Sabians. I had Sabians, Wuhans. The only pasties I had was the chime set. The what? 6, 8 inch chimes. That's the standard drum set I use for all my metal music. So when you see it up here, that's a China. Whoop, turn that off. So it starts with the China. Bass drum and trigger. Snare. There's the toms. I forgot they're way up there. It stretches so far. I don't have anywhere to set up my drum set, so yeah. And so when I record the guitars, like I said, I split them off, put one on one side, one on the other. I don't like recording. When I first started recording, I would record both guitars at the same time on one guitar. And when you do that, you can tell because everything they're identical and it doesn't sound like two separate guitars. So even though these guitars are playing the exact same notes, it should be all in the left ear. They're playing the exact same notes, but I did it in two different takes because I don't want them to be spot on perfect because then it doesn't sound like two guitars. You need that little difference, and if you look at the actual wave file of it, you can see how there's different peaks all over. They don't match, and that's what gives the song its actual sound. So, and then I need to record a bass line for this. I have lyrics. I need to record the vocals to it, but that's pretty much. You're just gonna have one bass track, and that's what I was working on earlier. Let me get back to that track. B-Day. So on this one, I had recorded a bass line really super fast, and I didn't have any effects on it, and so when you play it, it's lost in the mix right now. And that picture is me. case anybody's wondering. So this track, it's called Birthday. What is it actually called? No Hope. 9 minutes long. So this is another one where I started writing the guitar line and I thought, hey, that'll work. God, here it goes lagging again. And then I just I took the guitar on the left and I just gave it a tiny little run. Or the guitar on the right. And so I recorded a bass line really fast just so I could see if I could get it. Mainly, I put this down here so I could find a sound that I like because it's recorded with a 4-string fretless bass that was custom built for me by Damage Incorporated. I had bought a fretless bass off eBay years ago, and like normal when I deal with the public, I got ripped off. The neck was massively warped, so I took it to Damage Incorporated to a guy named Doug here in town. I asked him if he could fix it. He said he had a fretless neck, but it was too wide. The one I had was a cheap one, and so he would have to router the body to make it fit. And I was like, do it, whatever you got to do to make it work. And then he called me the next day and had me come down and said, I can't router this body. It's like plywood. As soon as I start to use it, it's going to chip and pieces are going to go flying off everywhere, and it's just not going to work. But he had a Fender bass up on the wall that was on that was for sale. It wasn't new; it was consignment, and he said the guy was okay with me buying that bass, and then he would switch the neck out with the fretless neck, which is awesome too because it was a left-handed fretless neck, so I have an inverted headstock on my bass. And he put that together for me, and then just charged me like for the bass, and then I think for like a day's work, even though he did more than that. So that's what I record with. My 6-string bass is here, but the neck is a little warped. I have to get fixed. And my other 6-string bass is 650 miles away with the drum set. So, and then the 4-string bass is with the drum set. The 8-string bass is here, but I'm not recording the 8-string bass on here. And it's not 8 strings like just 1 through 8. It's 4 strings and then 4 harmony strings. So. But I've got to find a sound for this. So what I usually do when I'm looking for a sound for the bass, I will do that. So I just marked this set and I loop it, and it'll start here, and when it gets back over here, it will rebound back and start over. Hold on a sec. I'm in a room with 3 cats. I had to get a cat off of something. All right, so what I'll do is I'll play it, I'll solo it so I can hear it. I hit play. That's what it would sound like, just what the input is. It's not very loud. And I am playing it with a pick. Yep, and you can hear the missed note there. Like I said, this was throwing it down, coming up with ideas, and then trying to figure out what sound I'm going to use. And this is Pod Farm 2. It came with my UX2 interface. The only thing I don't like about Pod Farm is it gives you all these presets, Like, this is gonna go sound weird here in a minute. Oh, nope. It'll give you, see, these came with whatever little pack I had when I got it. But then I'll go to do a different one. Oh, come on, show me one. There we go. This is what the setup would be, but I don't own a pack that has that, or that, or that, or that, or that, or that. So all I get is this. I don't want distortion. And if you look for anything that has bass in it, see, it's missing the auto wah and the line 6 sub. Avenged is what I use for one of the guitars. Yeah, that's not gonna work. God, what am I playing? That sounds awful. Wait, I gotta hear this. I have to hear this. I want to see what I'm playing. Wow, that's off. Whew, that's off. You could hear how off that was. Alright, so back to Pod Farm. That's off like a half step. I'm guessing this is distorted. Yeah. Yeah, so this could take a long time. And there's not a lot of stuff that just has bass. Look at all that I don't have. And then the playing itself is not the greatest. Whoop, doesn't hold it back to the beginning. And then I'm not confident enough to put my own setup in. To just give it a bass amp head, and I've never really been able to find a good setup as far as using just straight through the. When I was in Stand There and Bleed, I think I was using my Ampeg 600 watt amp head, and I think I just had it set the way I used to on my little PV Blaze practice amps. I would play the guitar with the bass all the way up, the mid all the way down, and the treble all the way up. And that was the black metal guitar sound I wanted. Which is weird because you don't usually hear a lot of bass in a black metal guitar. And it made it sound like mud, but for the way I played, it was perfect. But now, trying to change to anything else, I can never really settle on anything. And there are setups already. I can take this out and I could move down here to the Podform 2 and I could just go for the straight bass amps. But then that'll put me back in the same setup where I have to figure out what I'm going to do with the bass amp. I have to mess around with the knobs and whatnot. And I'm never going to find what I'm looking for. And you have these different setups here. So this was what my Black Metal guitar was this. But then this, having the bass turned all the way up, is going to create a lot of mud on the bottom, and it's going to get lost in the mix because I have two very distorted guitars playing. Hey, pick any old note there, Jonathan. The cord to my computer keyboard was in between the button and the mouse. I couldn't push the button. I think the best sounding bass guitar that I like is what's his name? Is it John Lord from Crimson Glory on the Astronomica album? I love the way his bass amp sounds. And I've actually looked around trying to find anywhere that showed what his setup was, and I've never found it. I haven't looked in a while, but last time I looked, I had never found it. But it's an awesome sound. God, the timing is off. This. I might just keep it to that. All right, so what I'm going to do, I was only planning on doing this for an hour, so I got 5 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down and play you really quick little blurbs of each track. So this one here, this is the album. Oh, there it is over there. Let me move it out a little. Okay, so this is the album of Strength and Sadness. This is the album Ruined. This is the EP Dark and Shadow. So start with the march. I don't think it's in here. Yeah, it is. Okay, so this is the track Iskarun. And it's going to give me I'm in the wrong sample rate. Yeah, I know. It's because I'm not running through the computer and not through my UX2. All right, so let's turn this way. So this is the first track. That's the first track. That's Iskarun. Next is Strength of Sadness, we have been messing with today. I know it doesn't match. And then once I go back to record, I'm gonna have to flip it all back because I'll be going through the UX2 again. This is the one I think that has the clip on the beginning. It's supposed to be a drawn out strum, and I started recording on the. It started recording on the downbeat. I started playing just before the downbeat, so you hear it just play a chord and then it strums after that. I got to fix that. There's the line. Let's try that again. And it lagged again. Well, you get the idea of that track. And after that is Harman Tangina. This one I wrote completely in the GP5 program. Hamar Tangina. I can't even know how to pronounce my own music. I wrote this one 100% in GP5 program. So you see these down here? This is the MIDI export from the GP5 program that I would play in the background and match the guitars to. Which sound awful because it's playing, MIDI, so it doesn't sound like what it's supposed to sound like. But the entire track and then the drum track is up here, and I switched it to match the uh, addictive drums that I'm using. So this one was written 100% in GP5. Wow, that China was really loud. That's Harman Tagina. I can't even pronounce it. Harman Hamar Hamarin Tangia. And then I Am Broken, which everybody knows from if you watch my game ones that my game streams I'll be doing later today. This is the track that is the intro. Do I have that down? Yeah. That was weird. Okay, so that's save that one. As I Am Broken. So this one, Life Union, is the last track. It's 10 minutes long. Whoops. Log Antique. Okay. Ah, crap. Wrong one. Misclick. Oh, it's after I moved everything. Oh, it's right there. It's still trying to find him on the old computer. That's why you don't see a time from the last time it was seen. It's still on the list, but it hasn't been there in a while. This one is 10 minutes long. I don't remember how it starts. I think I had to change this sound a couple times. Ah, freaking lag. You can hear the bass drums not moving smoothly. You can hear them speeding up and slowing down. It's lagging on my computer for some reason. So that's that one. Actually, I want to hear this part because this guitar is reverbed and this one isn't. I want to see what I was doing. Oh, clipping. Okay, so that's the tracks on that's the tracks on that album. I just got to put bass and vocals, and then that album will be done, and clean up some stuff, and then that album will be done. That'll be Of Strength and Sadness by Fog Warrior. I think what's going to take me the longest too is going to be coming up with a new cover. And then then the EP after that is called A Darkened Shadow, which is Twisted Fog, which is the one I opened up on accident. This one, I think I just sat down and I wrote the guitar line all in one go. I think, or at least I wrote the major chunk of it all in one go. Now, there's a cut, so holy crap. Oh yeah, this song's 20 minutes long, so there's no way I wrote it all in one thing. This just has the two guitars and drums. It's got keyboards in it here. This is a reverse cymbal sound. So it starts with a reverse cymbal sound. Turn that off. And this is a 20-minute track that'll be on an EP called A Darkened Shadow. The song is called Invictus. And then, oh, I guess I could play you Shadow too. Shadow is the intro. remember how I set this song up. This whole first part is blast beats, and then it's double bass back here. What is this? So that's not the keyboard sound I'm using. That's me going through and getting fed up after going through a crap load of keyboard sounds. So this ends here. Yeah, that's about 10 minutes. That's about halfway through the song. So it's blast beats for 10 minutes and then double bass for 10 minutes. Let me hear Shadow. I haven't heard Shadow since I recorded it. I don't even know where it's at. There it is. Most of the Fog Warrior songs start with a keyboard intro, and this one is awful darn short. How long is this? That's only 2 minutes. So apparently I haven't finished it. Wow, that's big in headphones. Hearing that now, it makes me feel dangerous right now because hearing that, I feel like I could stretch that out to like 15, 16 minutes. So that's the intro. And then the next album is Samurai, which is Ruined. Hey, Zax. Um, this is Samurai. This is one song I wrote that's 46 minutes long. that I have to chop up because it's not going to fit on. Uh, you have to. Oh, it's already at 48. When you record on, put stuff on Bandcamp, it has to go up as a high quality WAV file, which are much, much, much bigger than MP3 files. And the maximum amount it'll let you upload is 600 megabytes. Um, I uploaded Ambi 3, which was 45 minutes long, I think. It's all MIDI, but 45 minutes long. I had to drop it down to 8-bit to get it to fit under 600 megabytes. So 46-minute long song with multiple tracks is not going to fit. So what I did was I chopped this up into one album. So the first track is all just this intro. You might like this too, Zach. So let's see. Hey, cool. So that's the intro. And it moves to this spot. then that ends and goes into this one. And the way I have to do this is I know that one starts there and is 10 minutes long, so I need to go here and just drag this out. See where 10 minutes will get me. So that starts at 7:40 and ends at 17:40. So this must be the next part, which is a faster part. And after it does that for a little bit, it goes back into another 10-minute long one. Which I think is the exact same thing it was before. That goes for another 10 minutes. That ends here. Oh, cool. Oh, the chords? So that goes on for, like, you can see there, 2.5 minutes, and then it goes into this. think this is where I made the drums go nuts right here. Freaking lag. So that's a little 10-minute spot, and then it comes to here, and you get the little 2-minute out. You get the 2-minute outro. And then, like I said earlier, if you guys were watching earlier, this is the little part I wrote that I didn't save. Here's a little, so this is like an extra. I remember what it is. I think it's awful. Yeah, I see why I didn't use that. Those were just ideas I came up with while I was writing it. I mean, it's already 46 minutes long. It doesn't need to have anything else on it. All right, so that's the 2 new albums and the EP. That's a little taste of them. So I'm gonna end my stream here. I'll be back on. It's what time is it right now? It's 10:15. I'll be back on at noon, doing EQ2. I was just wanting to mess around with my music this morning, and I figured I might as well stream it. So these are all going to be coming out hopefully soon. They'll all be on my Bandcamp, which I have a link to off my Twitch page. I have 2 links to Bandcamp. One is the happy music, one is the evil music. So this is the evil music. So I'll let everybody know when it comes out. But I will see everybody in about an hour and 45 minutes on EQ2. So thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I mean, follow if you haven't followed. It's free. Subscribe if you can afford to, but following's free. So see you in an hour and 45 minutes, everybody.